Welcome to Contemporary Retirement. Contemporary Retirement is a public interest program focused on the retirement community. Every program has segments on legal, financial, and health issues affecting the retirement community. Contemporary Retirement is sponsored in part by a major grant from the Family Heritage Trust Company.
Contemporary Retirement is sponsored by Family Heritage Trust Company. The Family Heritage Trust Company is an independent bank chartered trust company established by local professionals to provide fiduciary services including fee-based investment advice, trust services, retirement planning, and tax planning. The Family Heritage Trust Company is committed to client service in our communities. For more information, call the Family Heritage Trust Company at 301-631-5900.
Contemporary Retirement is sponsored in part by a grant from R. Thomas Murphy & Associates, P.C. R. Thomas Murphy & Associates is one of Franklin County's leading law firms, emphasizing estate, trust, elder law, and medical assistance planning.
Welcome to the Is It Legal feature on Contemporary Retirement. Is It Legal focuses on the legal issues affecting the retirement community. With me today is Tom Murphy from the R. Thomas Murphy Law Firm with offices Waynesboro, Chambersburg, and McConnellsburg. Welcome to the show, Tom.
Good morning, Mike.
Tom, we've been talking about the differential between elder law and estate planning. You know, estate planning for many years was really focused on tax planning. Tax planning has become almost totally irrelevant in this process today. Why is that?
Well, because the feds have raised the numbers so much, and so most families out there aren't going to be impacted by any federal estate tax, and in many cases no state tax. And so it's more about getting your wealth to your family or heirs most efficiently and cheaply.
You know, it's a very interesting point here. As we talk to families about their location, particularly, yours and my office, we share a 150-mile practice area. We're 2 miles north, you're in Pennsylvania, 2 miles south, you're in Maryland. And you and I cannot handle vice versa cases. I don't do Pennsylvania cases, you don't do Maryland cases, because the complexity of the laws is just overwhelming.
Right, and if you want to do it properly, you need to be on top of those rules. And each state monkeys with the rules almost continuously, and if you make a mistake, it really can hurt people.
And we oftentimes caution people, you really need to look. I have people say, well, I'm going to go to Pennsylvania because they don't tax pension income. I said, well, that's true. They don't tax pension income, but Pennsylvania is not really widely regarded. It's any more of a tax haven than Maryland.
Well, exactly, and so I don't know if anybody wants to do anything based solely on taxes, and so it bites you other ways.
Well, so you have people that that are want to move to Pennsylvania, and so they may not pay taxes on their retirement income, but they now have a 4.5% inheritance tax going to their children.
That's exactly right. So all those taxes you avoided, Pennsylvania tries to get back at death. And so it's a tug of war. And
then we have people say, well, yeah, but I want to move to Maryland because there's no inheritance tax to my children. But in a Medicaid case, the healthy spouse's IRA and 401k are protected in Pennsylvania.
Right.
They can be protected in Maryland, but it's harder. And so, you don't just move to Maryland on that assumption either. You really need to look at a combination of factors to make a decision where it's best for you to live.
Well, exactly. And so those are all important factors that need to be evaluated. And we discuss those things and do the math. And, so you get to a good, comfortable spot where you're making a good decision.
And then you have to pay attention to where the assets are located.
Certainly.
So I have a Maryland resident who had a joint bank account with their mother in Pennsylvania.
Right.
And that account is subject to Pennsylvania inheritance tax, even though my client, the daughter, resides in Maryland.
Well, exactly. And so people trap themselves into these expenses and taxes unnecessarily, especially by not using the right documents, the right planning techniques.
And the irony of that is mom and daughter could have kept that joint account, but if they had closed the Chambersburg account and opened the account with that same bank in Maryland, there would have been no inheritance tax on it.
That's exactly right. It's just a matter of doing it properly and knowing what the rules are rather than guessing and then shooting yourself in the foot.
And people just have no idea the traps that they're setting themselves up for with this.
Oh yeah, it's sad because they're trying to do the right thing, or the teller's trying to help them do the right thing, and it ends up blowing up in their face.
And, and as I tell people every day, we're not in business to charge fees. I mean, if that were all we were doing, there's absolutely no reason to come see a high qualified elder law attorney.
Right. I mean, we do this stuff, and so we can lay out the pros and cons of doing anything. And especially in the financial world, it's important to know what the consequences of your actions will be.
And as we look at it, I have a very hard and fast rule. My father was a master sergeant. He did not want to pay any lawyer any more money than he would have absolutely had to pay him. And as a result of which, I approach my representation of the clients the same way. If I'm not adding value, then I don't want to be talking to them.
Well, exactly, and we'll tell people that, here's what you can do, and I'm not going to make that better, or if we can make it better, then we certainly will lay that out for them.
And why it's going to be better.
Exactly. They need to know the end point and whether we're going to earn our fees for doing whatever it needs.
And so, we actually do something. I know you do a similar thing. We call it calculate the bogey. What's the cost of the execution of us helping you versus what's the benefit of it? What's it going to take for that to work out? And we lay them out to the client, not with a pre-selected strategy, but help the client identify and to make a good decision themselves, not to force them to a decision, but how to make a good decision.
Right. In every situation we deal with, especially long-term care, a lot of it comes down to life expectancy and the amount of work and the cost to do the work. And if we lay that out, it usually works out pretty good.
And we calculate the amount of savings and how long it takes to recoup it.
Exactly. And so that's a quantifiable number that we can show to the client every time.
Tom, as always, thanks for taking time to appear on the program.
You're welcome.
More from Contemporary Retirement after these messages.
Few things in life are as important as family. Leave your insurance worries to us, Wright Gardner. Call or visit our website to learn how we can make insurance simple and more affordable.
Every life that meets its end leaves a heart for love to mend. Sister, brother, family, friends are left to carry on. When a loss seems more than you can bear, it's nice to know that we'll be there at Double Save Fiery Funeral Home. We care.
Call Ed Lowe to help put your mind at ease.
Welcome to a special guest feature on Contemporary Retirement. Special guest features various issues which are of importance to the retirement community. With me today is Asia Johnson, who is the Public Relations Director, Maryland Relay. Welcome to the show, Asia.
Thank you for having me.
I love this concept because I'm a techno geek, and what we have done, the state of Maryland has said, we're going to try to provide an accommodation for anybody with disabilities to be able to use the classic communications. What do I mean by that?
So through Maryland Relay, we're actually providing accommodations for Maryland residents that have difficulty using a standard telephone. And we do that through the state's relay services and our equipment distribution program.
All right, so obviously the easy one is a person who is deaf. The entire system is not designed to accommodate a person who is deaf.
Absolutely. So individuals who are deaf are using most often a video relay service or a TTY service, and we do provide access to video relay on the tablets that we provide through the equipment program.
And of course we have Meredith sitting next to me making all kinds of sign. What is sign?
She is. So she is expressing what I am saying in American Sign Language so that the message is accessible to the deaf community.
All right, and of course the deaf community can not only be people that were born deaf, but it can also be, the fact is we have a lot of hearing loss in our society, no matter whether you had it to begin with or not.
Absolutely. We're seeing a lot of seniors as they get older having a hearing loss, sometimes minor, sometimes significant, and the same for our veterans returning from combat with a hearing loss.
And so this system can work a lot of different ways. So if a person has some hearing capability but needs some assistance with that, I know we have a piece of equipment here, this white one. What does it do?
We do. So that is an amplified phone that makes it louder than a standard telephone would be, so that the person is able to hear and adjust for tone for the sake of clarity.
Okay, and then sometimes they really don't have any hearing capability at all, so we have this screen here. Now, how would that be working?
So the caption telephone is for someone with a more significant hearing loss who requires the support of captions. So if you think about it, it's most often the people who use captions on their television that can benefit from captions on the on their telephone also. And the way that works is there is a relay operator revoicing what's been said into a speech recognition software, and that's what generates those captions on the screen.
So that might actually go through your center there that would help develop a means of seeing that on the screen and then understanding what's being said.
Absolutely.
How does the person who's deaf then respond?
So an individual using this device would be someone who is hard of hearing, and they are able to just voice back to that person because they're voicing for themselves. They're just getting the support of what you're saying through the text.
All right, and then we have another one here with a bunch of icons. What's that?
It is. So that's our tablet. It's probably the newest addition to our program. And we're serving individuals with limited mobility with tablets and also cognitive difficulty. That actually opened now as an app that individuals with speech or cognitive difficulty can use to express themselves.
And so those icons might mean sort of common phrases that can kind of speed up the process. They don't have to type out the entire word then, or maybe they're not capable of typing out that word.
Exactly.
All right, now this equipment, it's very substantial. What's the cost associated with it?
So the state of Maryland offers the equipment at no cost to Maryland residents age 3 or older that have difficulty using a standard telephone. And if those persons are receiving Social Security, retirement benefits, veterans benefits, or are low income, they would qualify to receive the equipment at no cost.
How about the use of the service itself?
So relay services are absolutely free.
All right, and then we know that our viewing area, most of the states also have a similar program as well.
Yes, so don't worry if you're not in Maryland, there are other states that are providing equipment to their residents also.
So you have a family member, whether they were born deaf or became deaf as a result of perhaps environmental or other disease issues, there's just no reason for them to be isolated from the communication system.
That's what's important to us. We're focusing on having individuals with vision loss, memory loss, limited mobility or cognitive difficulty being able to keep in touch with friends and family or call to make their doctor's appointments so that they are not isolated.
And so how do they get a hold of you?
They can reach us at our administrative office at 1-800-552-7724, or they can log on to our website, which is www.mdrelay.org.
Asia, I want to thank you for taking time to appear on the program.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. More from Contemporary Retirement after these messages.
Tranquility at Fredericktown Assisted Living and Memory Care provides a warm, home-like atmosphere that promotes daily life enrichment. At Tranquility, our medical director is a geriatric physician. Our professionals support and understand the various stages associated with Alzheimer's and dementia. We have on-site physical, occupational, and speech therapists, as well as around-the-clock licensed nurses. For more information, give Tranquility at Fredericktown a call today, because everyone deserves great care. Let us do the caregiving so you and your loved one can embrace life again.
Come on, Dad, let's go! We're gonna be late! Hurry!
Just one more bid on HurleyAuctions.com. If you haven't visited HurleyAuctions.com, you don't know what you're missing. Whether you're buying or selling, antique cars, tractors, boats, or real estate, you can do it all at HurleyAuctions.com.
Get to know Dr. Carrie Hesley at Diagnostic Imaging Services.
What I find most rewarding is caring for women through our Women's Imaging Center. We have a caring staff that will ease patients through an ultrasound, bone densitometry, breast biopsy, or mammogram. Our health team is sensitive to emotions involved in women's imaging and understands that every woman is at risk for breast cancer. Providing the community with a center that is so dedicated to breast health and the imaging needs of women is something special.
DIS Women's Imaging Center, providing women with progressive care.
Welcome to Contemporary Health Scene. Contemporary Health Scene focuses on the health issues affecting the retirement community. With me today is Doug Wright, Chairman, Holly Place, otherwise known as Senior Living Alternatives.
Yes, thank you.
Right.
Glad to be here.
Always glad to have you here,
Thank
Doug.
you, Mike.
You know, I always love the story of Holly Place because you and a bunch of other, what I characterize as really compulsive do-gooders, recognized that there was a whole class of people that were being completely underserved and there was no model to help them.
All right, and it's a growing class. Yep, the folks who need assisted living can no longer get it good care from their families for a variety of good reasons.
And sometimes there's no family.
Yeah, sometimes there's no family. They don't have the resources to pay for the for-profit care that's available in our community.
And one of the problems that we see here is there is essentially no support structure for those people. There's a complete gap in the support structure model.
That's right, and I think you would talk to anybody in that community that does try to provide that support, recognizes that Holly Place is it. And we only have 15 beds, and there are probably hundreds of people right here in Washington County who need that support.
So when you look at a classic structure, you know, you see some assisted living might be as low as $2,500. That's a residential style, but mostly $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a month. And we have people, you know, who were gainfully employed their entire lives, but all they have is a Social Security check. Yep. They're clearly not going to be able to afford that.
No, it costs us $3,300 a month to take care of a resident, and our residents can only support that by as little as $500, maybe up to about $1,200 a month in Social Security.
And so we're telling our viewers, reach out. Let's try to help keep this place alive for these 15 people.
Yes, we are. We get fabulous support in the community. Over 41% of our income now comes from people in the community giving. 45% is from subsidies that have been granted to our residents by government agencies. The balance is grants and everything else. So it's the community has been a fantastic supporter of Holly Place, but you know we still need help. We still need help.
So what phone number? Do you remember it?
I got it. 301-733-3008.
All right, well, let's draw up a couple pictures here. So what we have here, it is a 3-story facility, which would normally say not great for assisted living.
That's true.
But one of the great philanthropists in this town
provided
you an elevator.
Yes, he did. Well, he was a general contractor for the conversion and provided the elevator, and it's the mainstay of our operation.
Because it's not exactly handicapped accessible, but you got to take what you can get.
Well, the folks with handicaps can get in our back door, so once you get in, then everything is handicapped accessible.
Beautiful room.
This is one that overlooks South Potomac Street. It's a favorite on parade night. It's a single residence. All of our rooms are for single residents, and this is a nice, spacious, airy room.
And what kind of services do you provide these folks?
Everything. We provide them absolutely everything. All their meals, their laundry, housekeeping, personal hygiene, dispensing of medicines, playing games, everything that is provided for them.
Transportation to the doctor's office?
Yeah, transportation, absolutely. Yes, communication with all the caregivers and everything else.
Medication management?
Yes, surely.
All right, and so once again, you know, the community has kept this organization alive. People think that the government is paying for this. It just could not be further from the truth.
It's not. It is the community paying for this. The community really has to continue to pay for it. We can't rely on government.
And so, you know, that's actually one of the mantras that a lot of us hear. We don't want the government involved, but when you don't have the government involved, then it becomes the responsibility of the community to support these folks.
Yes, yeah.
So
people in the community give individual gifts because they want to give those individual gifts. Where if we let the government support us, then those people don't feel like they're contributing anymore and they get out of the loop. So this is a more healthier model, really.
And of course, Doug, you know, you got into this because you were actually involved with senior apartments and then realized that there was a complete meltdown in when people needed services within your apartments but did not need to be in a nursing home.
All right, and it happens quickly. I mean, someone could be fine one day, 2 weeks later, they're in desperate need of care, and they do need that constant supervision and assistance. And it's a real struggle to what to do with these folks.
And once again, that phone number.
301-733-3006.
Any gift.
Any gift. That all is greatly appreciated, and it all will be well spent.
Doug, as always, thanks for taking time to appear on the show.
Thanks, Mike. Thank you very much.
More from Contemporary Retirement after these messages.
The Community Foundation continues to create great impact in Frederick County, thanks to generous donors. As our community evolves, so do we. While we don't have a real crystal ball that can predict the future, we are poised and ready to see things differently and help nonprofits, city and county agencies, civic groups, faith-based organizations, businesses, families, and individuals to solve problems within our community.
Albright, Crumbacher, Mal & Idtel are a full-service firm that provides elder care services including managing incoming bills, bill payment, depositing checks, balancing bank statements, and preparing, planning, and filing personal tax returns. Put your mind at ease and call us today.
Welcome to the Making Sense feature on Contemporary Retirement. Making Sense focuses on the financial issues affecting the retirement community. With me today is David Twenhafel, Senior Vice President at the Family Heritage Trust Company. Welcome to the show, Dave.
Thank you very much, Michael. Happy to be here.
Yeah, Dave, you've been in the trust business, financial services business a long time, but you also bring another certification to the process. Tell me a little about it.
Well, I'm a certified financial planner, a CFP. It's a very thorough training program to make sure that a financial advisor is well versed in all of the areas that might affect somebody's financial affairs.
So we talked last week, the trust company does not have any product sales, so that this service is strictly an add-on value to make sure that our clients are in the best possible position relative to their finances.
That's it. We're not charging a fee for the planning. We don't charge extra for the services we provide to people. It's just part and parcel of the service we provide.
And no hidden charges.
No hidden charges.
Can't be acting in clients' best interest with hidden charges.
No, we're a fiduciary, and that means we always have to act in their best interest, and we have to disclose any fees and any material facts.
The trust company approaches investment a little different than we see a lot of the people out selling products, because actually you take the approach that there is no one-size-fits-all.
No, it's people are different, their needs are different and often quite unique, and many times people come in with rules of thumb, and I like to smile and go, well, that's not really your thumb, so we need a different rule for you.
As we talk about that, one of the challenges that we have is we talk about investing. We say, well, obviously you need to hold the trust company accountable. That's easy. But most people are not holding their other investment advisor accountable at all. They're just simply because it's there, they're leaving it alone, hoping that it'll be okay, which is not accountable. And more importantly, they're not holding themselves accountable. So when we look at that and we see somebody that has a significant balance in CDs, we would suggest that person is not holding themselves accountable. Why is that?
Well, they don't really understand the risk they're taking by keeping their money in CDs. The risk there is that inflation can erode the purchasing power of the money, and over time it can significantly erode it. And the example that I always think of is when I was in high school, a movie cost about $2. Now a movie costs about $14, and it's not because the movies are so much better.
Well, and what it really is to take into account, we use a very simple rule. We call it the rule of 72 that helps people hold themselves accountable. So if you looked at inflation, which has been historically low for the last 10 years, and used 3%, it would mean the cost of living would double in 24 years. Yep. But if you're making 1% on those CDs, how long is it going to take to double the money?
Well, that'll take 72 years.
And so that really means there's been a significant loss in purchasing power. You don't see the loss day one, but sooner or later you go to that movie theater and then you're paying $10 for a ticket, $12 for a ticket that 25 years ago you're paying $2. It's happened to you.
Yeah, it does, and popcorn costs more, and the drinks cost more, and everything costs more.
And people can say, well, I'm going to cut movie theaters out so I don't have to deal with that. But you can't cut out taxes. You can't cut out milk and eggs and bread and gasoline, you know, and so forth. So the reality, it is going to get you. And so if you don't hold yourself accountable, if I were to suggest I want you to invest $100,000 and you would only lose $2,000 a year, they would tell me I'm out of my mind. But that's exactly what they're doing when they're using CDs.
It's losing money safely.
Predictably, too.
Yes.
And so, you know, well, people say, yeah, but the market is crazy. And the answer is the market is irrational. Nobody would suggest that it's not, but it does have a trend that is irrefutable for the last 90 years.
It works its way up. It's not a smooth, straight line, but over the long run, it goes up. And the stock market in general has outperformed almost any other, I think every other investment that you could put your money into.
And then if you do it appropriately in the way the trust company does, 12,000 stocks across the globe, it doesn't matter if somebody craters, you know, and even in flat markets in the US, there were other markets that were producing, and you can balance risk with performance.
There's always a crisis. You know, if you watch the news at all, there's always the crisis of the day, and 6 months from now, there'll be another crisis. But the stock market, over the long run, has trended its way up.
And so you look at 1987 on a long-term graph, it barely shows as a blip.
That's actually one of my favorite things, is to show people the graph and go, do you remember that day the stock market fell 22%? Can you find that?
Right. And you know, 2008 is also beginning to look very flat in terms of the overall market, as the market goes up on average 3 out of every 4 years. And so people get focused on the 1 year, not realizing that they're losing the 3.
That's correct. Yeah, it's sort of like having a coin, that if you could flip a coin and have it come up heads 3 out of every 4 times, that would be, you'd be happy to play that game.
David, thanks for taking time to appear on the program.
Happy to be here.
Thank you from Contemporary Retirement.
Remember a more carefree time? Leave your insurance worries to us, Wright Gardner. Call or visit our website to learn how we can make insurance simple and more affordable.
These days, it seems like everything's online, and filling out claim forms and receiving and paying bills online isn't always easiest. That's why we at Quality First Insurance encourage you to just give us a call. Let us help.
Hi there, I'm Paul Sweeney with Quality First Insurance, and it's still just this simple. Our offices are open every weekday where you'll be able to call and speak to real, live people.
No detail was missed. I'm so glad that I turned to Quality First Insurance.
I've recommended Quality First Insurance to my friends who've been just as satisfied.
If you're not happy with what you're paying for Medigap, or more importantly, not happy with your service, give us a try. We're locally owned, and we take the time to provide you with the best. We are Quality First Insurance, and our mission is to provide quality products to quality people. Pick up the phone and give us a call today at 800-745-1411.